Hello, this is Chris Sissons at Telling Stories Making Business on the 11th of October, and our storyteller today was Joe Cavalot, who you can see here in front of us. Joe, how was it for you?
It was fantastic. Really enjoyed it, actually. Came along, didn't quite know what to expect. I was a little bit kind of, well, I've only got one story, and thought it was pretty straightforward, really, telling a story. But I've learnt masses. I've learnt about kind of, trying to put it in a different way, trying to make it into something that people can relate to, but not in a boring way, not just a life story, which is kind of what I've always tried to do before. So it was about sort of actually taking a piece, making a picture, making that element of it, so something people can see, they can feel, they can, and maybe not in a sort of a bit of a magical way, not necessarily in a really boring factual this is what happened kind of way, but actually creating a story. And that sounds really obvious now, but it's not something I've thought about. And to get feedback from 5 other people on kind of, honest feedback about, well, this works, this doesn't, and maybe what about trying that, and make sure you pick this bit up, and, has been really, really good. So I'm going to take that away and practice and redo something, because I've got another thing on Monday and I'm going to try it out there. So I will be feeding back about how the rewritten version went in the future. But it was great. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Katie, how did you find it?
It was a really fascinating experience, actually, seeing how kind of like the story of this is how my business came about evolve into this kind of like slightly kind of like elements of mystery and magic, kind of like, here we go, and then linking that back into kind of like what the real world kind of like is, and how the real world role can help other people. It was just a really fascinating experience for me.
Thank you. And here we have Jojo. How did you find today's?
Yeah, today's Telling Stories Making Business session in Sheffield has been an absolute eye-opener for me. I really never understood what the power of a life story can bring in your messaging when you're trying to get across to people what you actually do. And how simple could it be by just being who you are, telling your story, and you can make business, which is exactly what happened today. And it's been such a privilege, and I think, Chris, you've got a winner here, and if I have to come back up from Peterborough and present myself, I will come. Yay!
Thank you. And finally, Tony.
Good afternoon, everybody. Really enjoyed it today. I sort of came along to support Joe and find out a little bit more about Chris as well, actually, and I've been really sort of surprised by how Chris has put together this sort of storytelling and making business. And I'll tell you why. The main reason is because we all have a story, don't we? We all have a background, we all have an aspiration, we all have an idea that brings us into business, and getting that message across is sometimes can be a bit difficult. What Chris has done today is actually shown how our stories can be pieced together so we can tell a story for business and making business and get your message across a bit better to people. Because for me personally, it's made me realise that my story is a story that brought me into business, and what I've learnt from today is that I can perhaps put the elements of a story together to help express myself a little bit more when I come into contact with other businesses. So thanks, Chris, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. And our next session is in a fortnight's time on the 25th of October, and our storyteller is Stuart McCaddy. So be here 12:15 at the Rood Shipyard, 25th of October. Thank you.